what's up? Peace and blessings. I am Jovhannah, the spiritual love healer, and today we are talking about fear when it comes to love. So if you're just joining, we are doing 30 days to tune into the frequency of love. Today is day, I think, 6. And again, I'm Jovhannah, the spiritual love healer. I am an intuitive healer, tarot reader, and spiritual coach, here to help you heal your heart so that you can open your heart and mind to magnetize and manifest the love that you desire in your life. So let's talk about fear. One of the biggest fears when it comes to love is actually just fear. There is fear that you will be cheated on, fear that you will go through the same thing that you've experienced before. There's fear of being hurt, played, mistreated, all of those things that, and there's also the fear thinking like, I'm not gonna find love, nobody's going to love me, I'm always gonna be alone. Those are all fears. So let's get into it. Now, when we are afraid to love or to experience love, that is like one of the first missteps that we make. And it's totally understandable because I've been hurt before. I've been in horrible relationships, toxic relationships. I've been in an abusive relationship. And the perceived fear of having your heart broken or being hurt is very much real. And it feels very palpable, like you can put that fear in your hand because it's that heavy, it's that serious, it's that real. Our heart space is a very vulnerable space, and we don't want to be hurt. If you've been on this earth for any amount of time, you know how it feels to be hurt, to be let down, and to be, to need, to long for, for embrace, for love, for welcome, for connection. Because love it's one of our foundational needs. It is something that we need to function in this world. And so when we place fears around ourselves, what we're doing is locking ourselves away from love. And we're cutting ourselves off from the very thing that we are like, I want this, I really want to experience love, but I'm afraid. But dating scares me. But I've been on these horrible dates. But I've been abused. I've been used. I've been mistreated. But I don't think anybody's gonna love me. But I think I'm too old. All these buts is just like gate after gate after gate after gate that builds this barrier of protection that's keeping you from receiving love. And not only is it keeping you from receiving love from others, but it's also can keep you from receiving love from yourself. Like, it's like you're shutting yourself off emotionally and you're saying like, you know what, I'm not worthy of love. Love is something to fear. Love is not good. And it's setting this tone for you to receive what you've been receiving in your life. In fact, I just received a message from someone and they were like, I think I'm just cursed when it comes to love. Like, I keep going through these situations. And that's what happens when we place fear in our heart, when we choose fear over love, when we decide that we're not going to trust. We start to attract in these people, these situations, these energies that mirror the fear that's in our heart. Now, this fear can be conscious, it can be subconscious. So you might not even be aware that that's the energy that you're putting out. But when you start to look at your relationship patterns, and that's something that I do with my clients, we look at their relationships and see like, what's the overall theme of your relationships in your life, with your family, with your friends, with your past lovers, because that identifies so much. It can tell me so much about how you go about love, like what your heart set is. And your heart set is kind of like your mindset when it comes to love, dating, and relationships. So the first thing that we need to do is to recognize where you're being fearful. And I always say that, acknowledgement, recognition, that's always the first step, because if you don't know, then you don't know, and then you cannot move forward to fix what you don't know. So look at ways that you're being fearful, and how you can do that is by, how are you talking about love? How are you reacting to experiences related to love? So if someone approaches you and it's like, hi, let me get your number, are you like, oh my God, no, like, get away from me, I'm married? Like, what is the energy that you're putting out? Because often, right, because I know I've done this, right, we go to the store and we're like, I hope don't nobody look at me, don't talk to me, don't say nothing to me, just no, I'm in here for anything, I'm not making eye contact. And we put that guard up before we walk into the store, because we like, I don't want to hear it. Oh, here he come, I see him looking. You can, what I'm saying, you feel that energy when a man is gazing at you, when you feel like he's interested. And oftentimes you can put up that wall, either you're receptive to it, or you put up that wall, and the look, and you're just like straight ahead, blank stare, don't even try it, I don't acknowledge you. And that's what we do to love all the time. And I'm not saying that you have to welcome everyone's advances, that's just an example. So again, being aware of how you're being fearful of love is key. So like, look at how you're acting. Are you dating? Are you going out? Are you saying that you really want to experience love, but you stay in the house all the time? And, when someone does approach you, you're like, oh my gosh, no. Like, how are you being open and receptive to love? And another way to look at it, even without, looking at outside relationships, is to look at how you are with your family. Are you open and loving and trusting? And if you have some, toxicity, dysfunction, like we all probably do, how are you handling that? Is it still eating you alive? Are you like Charity on the green leaves? Are you still harboring, is your inner child still harboring resentments and hurts from that time, mommy did this, or from that time daddy said that, or, when your siblings, locked you in the basement and they went outside to play, like whatever it is, like, are you still harboring resentments for that? So that's another key indicator. And two, I want you to realize that in love, risk is involved. Okay, and so we place such a monumental amount of weight on the fear of having our hearts broken than we do when we hop in the car. Every time you walk out the door and you get in your car and you're driving along wherever you're going, there's a possibility that you could be involved in an accident. But we don't think about that. We're not like, holding on to the rails like, oh my gosh, I gotta get in this car. What if some, we're not driving like this, like, oh my God, I'm gonna die today. Like, what's going on? Like, no, we're in the whip. We got our music playing. We're riding. We're driving, and we're not in expectance of an accident. We're not necessarily preparing for an accident to happen, because we trust that when we get in the car, we're gonna get to where we're going. We're gonna handle our business. We're gonna get home safely. That's the same way you need to be about love in 2020. So today, examine your fears. Where are you holding on to the rails? Where are you expressing fear from your heart? Where are you closing your heart off? And when you can identify that, then you can start to look at ways of, okay, so how can I shift this? If I say I want love, but I'm not going out and I'm like putting up the blockers to anyone who tries to approach me, how can I do that a little bit differently? And that doesn't mean you got to be like, hey, everybody, look at me. But it does mean that you can just acknowledge someone. And that just might mean making eye contact, right? Maybe you will be less resistant and make eye contact with men who, are glancing at you or making eye contact with you. Hopefully it's not somebody's husband. But again, like, look, that's on you. So those are just a few of the ways that you can really start to shift the energy of love in your life and start to push fear out of your heart and welcome it in. Another thing that I really want you to start doing is self-love. Practice self-love. And a lot of these activities and things that I'm sharing with you are going to help you bolster that naturally, because you're getting to know yourself again. And so I'm going to leave you with that today, and I'll be back again to share more tips to help you release so that you can welcome love into your heart and mind in 2020. So stay tuned as we continue to tune in to the frequency of love with the Spiritual Love Healer. You can find me on Instagram as the Spiritual Love Healer, and head over to my website to check out the amazing services that I provide at thespirituallovehealer.com. Peace.